Today's lesson is about the equation of a circle, either in standard form or general form. And you have to be able to write it from the one form to the other form. Now quickly dot down these two. It's old news. You already know that the standard form looks like this. And if you multiply the brackets and take r squared to the left-hand side of the equal sign, you will end up with the general form. So to get to the general form, after you've multiplied out brackets, you group them, first the squares together, then the x's and then the y's, and then you add all the constants. Now what you're going to need also in today's homework is the relationship between circles, and you can find that on page 212 in your textbook. Can I carry on? I'm quickly going to show you what this is. In your textbook, now don't draw this now, you can do it at home. Concentric circles mean you have two circles but they have the same center. Then they are concentric circles. When two circles touch internally, the picture will look like this. When two circles touch externally, it will look like this. And if you get the distance between the two centers, and it's equal to the first radius plus the second radius, the picture looks like this. They touch externally. However, if you move the smaller or the bigger circle a little bit apart from the other one, the distance between the two centers will be larger than this radius plus that radius. And if you move the circles more or less over each other, the radius of the big one plus the radius of the small one will be larger than the distance between the centers. Okay. This seems very simple, but if you get questions asking about this, Just know that you have to refer to page 212 in order to answer them.
So my B is that the distance is larger than the radius.
Than the sum of the radius.
The sum of the radius.
Yes.
Then this one is the distance is
Smaller than the sum of the radius. Okay, now we get to question 1. Example 1. These examples are not in your notes, so you have to jot them down. Example 1 says, the vertices of triangle MNP lie on the circumference of circle T. Now you have to find 3 things. The center, so the coordinates of the center. How long is the radius? And the equation of the circle. This is a typical exam question. Okay, let's first get to the coordinates of the center, T. Everything that you assume, you must write down. So let's start by saying, let T, which is coordinate A and B, be the center of the circle. Circle MPN. Now, how do you think will we get the coordinates of T?
And we can use the x minus a squared plus y.
Yes, we're going to use the equation of a circle. I'm going to write it here. X minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals r squared. But what are we going to use for x and A and b? X and y and A and b and r. Yes. There is a radius to M. There is a radius to P. And here is a radius to N. So Tm will be equal to Tp will be equal to Tn. And that will be our radius. Does that make sense? Okay. In our equation, we need radius squared. So we need Tm squared, Tp squared, Tn squared, and r squared. So let's write it. Tm squared, Tp squared, Tn squared, and r squared. That will also be true because we have radii. So let's start with Tm squared. It will be x minus a squared plus y minus b squared, which is the radius squared, but that will also be equal to Tn squared. Oh, I just pick one. Equals to x minus a squared plus y minus b squared. And now I'm going to substitute Tm's values as x and y. So 2 and 3 will be x and y. 2 minus a squared plus 3 minus b squared equals, and for this one I'm going to use Tn, so I'm going to use n's coordinates. X is 4 minus a squared plus y is negative 1 minus b squared. Now you multiply the brackets. This will give you 4 minus 4a plus a squared. And the next one will be 9 minus 6b plus b squared equals 16 minus 8a plus a squared plus 1 plus 2b plus b squared. I'm going to take all the variables to the left-hand side and all the constants to the right-hand side. Negative 4a plus a squared minus 6b plus b squared plus 8a minus a squared minus 2b minus b squared equals 16 plus 1 is 17 and 4 plus 9 is 13. Take it over, negative 13. Plus a squared minus a squared is 0. Plus b squared minus b squared is 0. Minus 4a plus 8a gives you 4a. Minus 6b minus 2b is minus 8b, and that equals to 4. Now I'm going to divide by 4 to make it more simpler. A minus 2b equals 1. So let's get a alone. A will be 1 plus 2b. And that's our first equation. Can you see what I'm working towards too? Solving simultaneously. So, now I'm going to take Tm and Tp squared, and I'm going to do the same. So Tm squared equals Tp squared, because they are radii. This is x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals x minus a squared plus y minus b squared. 2 minus a squared plus 3 minus b squared equals Tp is 5 minus a squared plus 0 minus b squared. This gives me 4 minus 4a plus a squared plus 9 minus 6b plus b squared equals 25 minus 10a plus a squared plus b squared. Take all the variables to the left and all the constants to the right. Negative 4a plus a squared minus 6b plus b squared plus 10a minus a squared minus b squared equals 25. 4 plus 9 is 13, so take it over, negative 13. A squared minus a squared is 0. B squared minus b squared is 0. Negative 4a plus 10a gives me 6a. Minus 6b equals 12. Judah? Now I'm going to divide with 6, and I get a minus b equals 2. Get a alone. A is 2 plus b, and this is equation number 2. I'm going to set equation number 1 equal to equation number 2 because I have an a and I have an a. So number 1 equals number 2. Then I get 1 plus 2b equals 2 plus b. Take this b over to the left and then we have b equals. Take this one to the right and we have 1. Equation number 3. Now I'm going to substitute 3 into 1. So a equals 1 plus 2 times 1. A equals 3. And b equals 1. What can I do with a and b? Get the center. Therefore, the center, which is t, will be a, 3, and b, 1. And that is the center of the circle. That's the first question that I want. Now they also want the radius. We got the center. How will I get the radius? General formula. So, x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals r squared. I'm going to substitute m, which is 2 and 3. And I'm going to substitute 3 and 1, which is the center. So this will be x and y, and that will be a and b. X is 2 minus 3 squared plus y is 3 minus 1 squared. That will give me the radius squared. 2 minus 3 is negative 1 squared plus 3 minus 1 is 2 squared equals r squared. 1 plus 4 is 5, so r squared is 5. What will r be? R will be the square root of 5. I don't have to write plus or minus because the radius is always positive. So there I have my radius. The third thing that I want is the equation of the circle. X minus a is 3 squared plus y minus b is 1 squared equals r squared, which is 5. And there is my equation. Oh, a lot. Yes, it will be.
And so that's the equation.
That's the equation. Okay, question 2. You have to write quickly. Example 2. I give you an equation and I ask you to write it in this format. We know how to get from this one to that one. But how do I get backwards? So we start with this here. When we multiply this one out, we get all the x's together. And if you multiply this one out, you get all the y's together. So let's regroup this with all the x's together and all the y's together. So x squared minus 6x plus y squared plus 10y equals negative 14. What do you think will I do now?
Yes, let's set factor.
No. complete the square? Because we need a square bracket plus a square bracket equals a square radius. How do you complete the square? You add half of b. So it's plus half of b squared. But if you add half of b to the left-hand side of the equal sign, you also need to add it on the right-hand side. Plus negative 6 over 2 squared. Here I need to add half of b squared. And I have to add it at the right-hand side of the equal sign as well.
Ma'am, do you think completing the square we work with the trinomial method? So how do you know which one is which? How do you know which? Yeah, then do you consider the y's as constant? Anything that is x, do you consider as a constant for y?
No, this is my constant. A constant doesn't have a variable.
But then, ma'am, because this is more than three terms.
Yes, those three goes with the x's. And these three goes with the y's. So I group the x's together, complete the square to get a trinomial, which if I factorize that, will give me a bracket square. And I group all the y's together to get a trinomial, and if I factorize that, I will get a bracket square. Okay. So if I factorize this, can I have your attention? You will get x minus 3 squared plus, if you factorize that, you will get y plus 5 squared equals, and if you add that, you'll get 20. So the equation of this circle will be x minus 3 squared plus y plus 5 squared equals 20. There's my equation in the other format. Now they can ask you follow-up questions, like for instance, what is the center of the circle? And what is the radius?
And is that 5 or
5. Oh, skis, squared, squared, donkey. Where do I get the center of the circle in my equation? A and B. This should be a minus, so there are two minuses. This should be a minus, so this one is correct. So what is my center? 3 and negative 5. What is my radius? Square root 20. This is r squared, so the radius will be square root 20. Any questions? You know how to do this? Okay.